Today's video is my November 2022 dividend income update, so don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's get started. So if you're new here, I used to talk a lot about our early retirement dream, and part of that dream was to fund our early retirement through dividend income. Now, obviously, my circumstances have changed somewhat, and early retirement, I don't think, I mean, it's not even part of my plan anymore. I don't think it's an option any longer. However, I thought I would share the update with you because I've had quite a few messages asking if I'm going to continue to do the dividend income updates because people find them quite inspiring and quite motivating. The problem with this now, I suppose, and it's not a problem, but it's an explanation as to why I haven't done one for a while. I didn't do October's, for example, is because this is no longer just my income and my money, and I'm not at the moment kind of allowed to touch the investments due to lots of stuff going on. And so, although it does continue to provide dividend income, which stays in the account, it's more complicated now than it used to be. However, I do want to share this because this was one of my kind of things that was, if you talk early retirement, I was one of the kind of money bloggers that talk about it quite frequently. And I haven't talked about it for a while because I just don't know if that will ever be on the cards ever again. But I thought I would share this with you because lots of people have asked. So dividends are kind of small for November. They always are. It's not as small as October, but it isn't great in terms of dividend income. However, again, when I talk about that, it's not great in terms of what the aims used to be, but for now, like, I have no idea how to really go about going forward with this. It's a it's a tricky thing to talk about, and it's a tricky thing to for me to accept that the aim that I've had for so long in terms of all of this is no longer the case. However, I will share with you the dividend income. So there are 3 companies that paid out in November. The first one being BAE Systems. That's a fairly new holding in the portfolio, and it's one that has grown substantially in terms of the value of that holding. The dividends, they're okay as well. They paid out £31.20 in November. All of the dividends, like I say, stay in the account, and I am not touching that. It's complicated. I'm not going to go into that in a video, but it's there. The second company that paid out is ITV. Again, a really small holding, and their dividend is really small. So that was £8.50 for November. And then the final one that paid out was Tesco. Tesco's a supermarket here, and £19.25. So the total for all of those together is £58.95. So I used to talk about what bills that would pay for. What would that pay for? It would pay for, I used to talk about what it would pay for, so that would pay for the water bill, for example. But again, because everything is so complex now and complicated, it seems strange to talk about what bills that would pay because I'm not allowed, or I'm not touching the money anyway, and everything is so up in the air that it almost doesn't matter because it's not important now. In a sense, I'm trying to survive, and it feels really weird to be sharing this. The next thing I'm going to do, if you've not seen these before, I really like the visual representation of things. I use my budget planner and colour that in for different things. I like the visual representation. So the next thing I'm going to share with you is a graph that shows the year up to date so far. And you will see that the numbers fluctuate massively in terms of dividend income. And then I will show you a different part of this spreadsheet. It's a little kind of table that shows all of the dividends so far and the yearly total for each of those. So this is the graph that shows the dividend income received throughout the entire year. So from the start of 2022, so this is the start, this is January, that was £147. But you can see that it fluctuates substantially. And this was the first ever time that I'd hit £500 in dividends in a month. Now, in terms of what happened in the future, I don't know, but there we go. But you can see there, so that was £500, and then October was really small in comparison. So it's not consistent in terms of dividend income. I can't say that, I earn an average of whatever, because some months are 3 figures, some months are really low, 2 figures. It is not consistent enough to provide that stability in terms of income. It's looking okay, but it's not. It wouldn't be something that you could rely on in terms of paying bills every month. So the final thing I'm going to show you is just the table that shows the dividends earned and invested cash for the year, and then the total, so you can see that. So this is the final thing to share. So this is another part of the same spreadsheet that shows the dividends earned and invested cash, and you can see quite substantially the start of the year looked very different in terms of the dividends, but also the invested cash. And the first kind of, I guess, 4 months of the year were fairly stable, and then obviously then you can see where it all changed in terms of, I don't know what happened in July that let me invest some money, because I have no money, my income is so low now, but you can see there that that's the difference. And continuing for now, but I don't know whether it will continue for very long, but the total dividend so far, with 1 month left to go, is £1,512.95, and I've invested £2,800 this year, but most of that was at the start when my life was very different. I think that in terms of dividends for December tends to be quite a good month, but we'll see. And that's it for my November 2022 dividend income update for you. And I didn't share October's, but you can see there that October's was £40.30. And like I say, this was always going to pay for bills in early retirement, but now that early retirement dream has gone, has disappeared. And also, this isn't mine alone, this is a joint investments. And so because we are no longer joint, it's complicated. And so part of that going forward will eventually be figuring out what happens with all of this. But in the meantime, I'll continue to share and hopefully find some inspiration for myself in terms of I can continue this somehow at some point in the future, and hopefully it inspires you to think about doing investing if you've got some spare change at any point. But yeah, do you have any investments? Do you have any investments that paid out in November? Let me know down below what you got in terms of dividend income received. It's not something that I'm not going to talk about investments as much on the channel at the moment, because it's not something that I'm focusing on, but lots of people follow me for this, so thank you for watching if you have. Let me know down below how you're getting on, and as always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you again very soon.